All right, hey guys, it's Suja here, Primal Yogi. I want to talk to you guys about something really important, and it's a term that we all hear a lot, and it's balance. It's right, like you gotta be balanced, you know? You gotta eat the junk food and you gotta be strict, and you gotta just treat yourself and let yourself vacation and drink, but you also gotta work out. And the reality of it is that it just doesn't work that way. Our perception of balance has been completely skewed. We've been getting fed kind of a narrative that's actually bringing us down. So my intention with this is to really share to you what true freedom is, how you get true food freedom, and also how you can just be the best motherfucking version of yourself. So, before that, I just want to catch you up and tell you where I'm at in life. I'm here in Miami, Florida. It's been over a month now, which is freaking crazy. And during this time, I've been able to really get in my cave. And that means just away from distractions and different things pulling at me. This is something I did very intentionally for the summer. And I've been able to just really go deep on everything that I've wanted to build consistency with, build discipline with, and also just explore without getting so much noise and judgment, whether that is family, friends, or just anyone around me that may not be completely on my lifestyle. Having, my doggo, my partner with me, supporting me, and also being a part of this lifestyle has been absolutely amazing. Now, with food specifically, I've always been into fasting for the past few years, even while I was 100% plant-based. Fasting is something that helped me so incredibly much with my energy, my inflammation. However, what really has taken so much of the benefits I've been feeling to the next level is eating more animal-based. Now, it's not just about eating animal-based, it's about basically having nothing that's processed or packaged, anything artificial. I'm getting it, in the rawest form ever. So that has been a game changer. But with this society, day and age, it's pretty hard to do that. And when we have temptations around us, when we live in a household where maybe someone likes to snack on certain things, even protein bars or protein powder that's so big in the industry, that's something that I depended on. When that's in your environment, those are things that can be really tempting. So to really commit to this and to fully allow yourself to experience it, which is what I've been doing, your body actually starts to enjoy this. And when you put something else in your body, it doesn't feel the same way. Same thing with working out, being super consistent, asking my body what it needs, and really building that discipline and showing up at the gym every single day, or if it's not at the gym, it's getting some other movement in that active recovery and doing the work to really heal and build strength. All right, so the issue with our perception or idea of what balance is actually going to hurt us in the long run, because we use this as kind of like a justification. We say, oh, I've had the longest day. I've been working out. I've been, eating healthy for the most part. I gotta treat myself. You gotta have that balance. You gotta have that glass of wine. You gotta have that hard kombucha. You gotta have that brownie, or you gotta have that pizza, whatever it is, and you'll find that balance. But what happens is when we try to create that balance, we end up really veering off our path. It's different if we treat alcohol like way back in the day, it was used for celebration. If we were just treating alcohol for celebratory purposes instead of our casual drinks every single week, it wouldn't be bringing us down like it is now. If we treated treats and desserts like just for those celebrations, and it wasn't so accessible to us at our fingertips and something that's so casual, it wouldn't be bringing us down. If we treated those processed foods or protein powders or protein bars literally when we just needed that absolute convenience and not just something that's just sitting in our house, it would be different. It wouldn't be bringing us down. But what happens is we've been completely preached this narrative that we need to have more of that balance and we shouldn't be so disciplined and strict with our lives. However, this is just the truth. Being strict and disciplined is what gives you that true freedom. In yoga, there's these beautiful two terms. They're kind of a, concept, or you can call it like a basis foundation for yogic philosophy. And the first one is abhyasa. Abhyasa is kind of like your constant practice, right? You're creating that consistency, that constant practice that you're committed to no matter what. The second one is vairagya. Vairagya is detachment. You're letting go of the shit that doesn't serve you. And those two things can take you so far. They're so underrated as far as how important it is. You could almost argue that life is just a journey of your continual practice that you're building and maybe evolving, and then detaching and letting go. You need to continuously let go of the shit that doesn't serve you, because you're going to continuously change. All of this is continual and continuous, and you need to consistently come back to your constant practice, or your abhyasa, because that is what keeps you grounded. It keeps you foundational. It allows you to make moves and change and evolve and do everything that you wanted to do, because you're following that consistent practice that's going to give you that abundance, that manifestation coming to life, whether it's money, whether it's freedom around food, whether it's the body that you've always wanted, whether it's to be a kick-ass parent for your family or an awesome dog mom, whatever that is going to give you that consistency. So not only has the term balance been really skewed for us, but also freedom, or food freedom, that has been really skewed for us too. We've been preached that, when you truly have food freedom, you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and not feel guilty about it, and not feel like it's gonna do anything to your body. What we have completely detached ourselves from and not even realized is that it's no longer about freedom when your literal body and brain has been altered. What I mean by that is that all of these companies and basically the food industry, they've created these foods, processed foods, even our day-to-day healthy foods that we think are healthy, they do have chemicals. They are created to have a perfect taste, saltiness, sweetness, crunch that makes us literally addicted. And especially foods that contain sugar or just processed refined carbs in general, they literally change our biochemistry and biology. And when that happens, we no longer can even have the right judgment as far as food goes, or even our gut health, because we're now dependent on these foods. That's why it's literally a drug. So you can argue if that someone's under the influence of something, their perception is not right. And how can they know, what's balanced for them if they are under the influence of something? We really, really need to realize that sugar and processed foods are an actual drug, and we should start to view it like that. But because it's been so normalized, because it's balance, because it's food freedom, we've completely, ignored that fact. So true freedom is when you can literally have any of those tempting foods around you, but you feel so grounded and rooted in what you're eating. You know that it's fully nourishing you. You're taking full accountability for the food. So when you eat, you don't feel a single morsel of guilt, because you are fully there for your food and every bite, and you're there and present. That is the true food freedom. When you feel fucking awesome about the fact that you're disciplined, and you don't feel like you need to have those days where you're like, I need to treat myself, it's balance, I need food freedom. Because there's no such thing as that ancestrally. We just ate the animal foods that helped us thrive. And I'm not saying it's animal based for everybody, although for me it's been working out because of the satiation it's brought me. I've been practicing vairagya, or detachment, and just letting go of all of the foods and the bullshit that's not serving me. A lot of times we focus on just adding more to our plate, but when we can actually let go of everything, it makes the biggest difference. Recently, it just so happens that as we were moving here to Florida, I had a thought in my head, because I had gotten in the habit of having a glass of wine or, a can or two of hard kombucha, because they're absolutely delicious. It's all around me, especially back in Southern California. But as I was diving into animal-based eating, I realized hey, if my whole point of this is to do some healing and to really practice some elimination to see what's not serving me so I can be my next level self, I feel like I should kind of take a break from alcohol. It has been almost more than a month without a single bit of alcohol. And actually, just the other day, I decided, hey, I'm gonna have a can of hard kombucha. We were with some friends just to see how I felt, kind of as an experiment. Because sometimes it's nice to take a break and then, have something once in a while, because I don't wanna ever set any rules. So I felt like having one, so I had one. And literally, just as I was drinking it and a few hours later in the night, I had felt bloated for the first time and I actually had gas. And just so you know, eating animal-based, I basically haven't been bloated at all, no gas whatsoever. If you look at my face, it's been pretty clear for the most part. My hair has been feeling really good, my skin, everything. I feel like I've been thriving here. But the alcohol, the next day, I only had one can, you guys, 6%. It's like having a beer. The next day, I felt like I literally had a hangover and I was like, whoa. Maybe primed my body to get used to a casual glass of wine or alcohol once in a while, but the impact it had on me, I was like, whoa. Like, this is why it's unnecessary. I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna have it again, but this is why it's a very occasional thing for celebrations, and it's not something I do on the day-to-day. And that's where the abhyasa comes in, the constant practice. That constant practice keeps me grounded. So because I'm solid and disciplined in my practice, I'm not consistently tempted. There's no days of the week where I'm like, well, today I'll have some, I'll bring some alcohol home, or I'll bring some ice cream or chocolate or some processed foods home. I stay really grounded, which is what allows me the freedom to feel fucking awesome. And now I feel like I can do everything. I feel like I got my strength in the gym. I feel like I can produce this content. And when I had the other stuff that wasn't really serving me, I was still getting my stuff done, but it felt like so much effort. Because energetically, when you are spending your time or effort or even digestion or brain power on something that's not 100% necessary for you, it's taking away your energy. So why would we spend time and energy and even a lot of money on something that's not fully fueling us or feeling good? So a little bit more on food freedom, because this is going to look so different for all of us, right? We're all going through our journeys, and this is why food journeys can be so different for everybody. I came from a background of disordered eating, which means I had a lot of binge eating going on and a lot of restriction. And although they say that fasting may not be best for disordered eating, it was actually so healing for me. It gave me empowerment. It allowed me to find my true food freedom because I was so solid and grounded in my fasting process. I knew that that was giving me rest. That was my abhyasa, and that was also my vairagya. It was my continual practice as fasting, but it was my detachment because I was letting go of the shit that wasn't serving me while I was fasting and restoring my body. Now, with that, you could literally put food in front of me, and I felt so good that I didn't need it. And that was the freedom. I felt free. I didn't feel controlled by food. That is not freedom. That is not balance. Feeling the balance is balancing between your abhyasa, your continual practice, and your vairagya, your detachment, right? Continuously staying grounded, rooted, and then letting go. And sometimes when you get back into it, let's say there's a party, let's say there's a birthday, let's say there's a wedding, let's say like you're on your period, I don't know, maybe you're just like, okay, like I just want to have the cake. I just want to have the ice cream. I do that too. As strict as I am, we have weekly days where we do an 87 fuel day. And just so you know, 87 fuel, think of it like you're getting gas for your car. Your car needs gas. It needs fuel to run. 91 fuel is your optimal, right? I want to feed myself the 91 fuel, the optimal fuel to run my engine on the daily. Some days, because I don't want to call it a cheat day, I'll have an 87 fuel day. It's still fuel. It's still going to get the job done, but it's not 91 fuel. It might not be my best performance, right? It might not make me feel 100, but it's going to get the job done. So with these 87 fuel days, this happens about once a week because we just moved to Miami. We want to try out different restaurants. We want to have a date night, and this is me and my partner. So he actually came up with the term 87 fuel because I'm like, I don't like the term cheat day. I don't want to think I'm cheating. I don't want to associate something bad. This food is still fuel to me, but it's just 87 fuel. So now with that, I wouldn't recommend that for the average person. This is my journey, right? Because what happens is if you're not fully grounded in your discipline, in your abhyasa, in your consistent practice of eating well and eating good and eating that 91 fuel every day, then what happens is when you have those 87 fuel days or those cheat days, according to society, that can really trigger binging. That can trigger a lot, and it might even roll you into just like eating a bunch and feeling like crap, and then feeling like eating your 91 fuel is a punishment. And we don't want that. So I've gotten to a point where I love the food I have every day, like even my just plain ground regenerative grass-fed beef and eggs, as much as I love occasionally, getting the pizza and the ice cream. And I'm just gonna flash a few pictures right here of our 87 fuel days, a few videos that we've had, because we've had some really cool stuff. I mean, we've had donuts, we've had pizza, we've had ice cream. But then also, so here's some of the stuff that I have on the day-to-day. Like, this is so nourishing. I know that it's giving me my peak optimal performance. I'm feeling good. I feel like I can go crush it in the gym. And I love both just as much. And that feels like freedom, I really enjoy the 87 fuel. And it's that part of me that is still participating in society. Like, we live in a day and age where we're so far from our primal roots. And I'm all about primal living, and this is why I eat the way I eat, because I do not want to allow the food industries and the, companies of this day and age to hack my biochemistry. I want to stay solid and grounded in what our ancestors ate, which was primarily animal-based, which was primarily super high fat, moderate protein, and little to no carb actually. But that's a whole different story. I want to stay grounded in that. So that's my continual practice. That's what gives me freedom. But on the certain days that we have 87 fuel, it allows me to just like have appreciation. Or if I did have that drink very occasionally after a month and a half, it felt like it really did something to me. And when we just make drinking like a habit, or having chocolate at the end of the day a habit, we're completely defeating the purpose of what it's doing for us. We should honestly treat everything like medicine. And if we were treating everything like medicine, would we really want to have a drink every single day? Or would we want to have dessert every single day? It doesn't become that celebratory thing if we're just having it every day. We want the 91 fuel every day. Majority of my meals, I would say 95% of my meals during the week are at home. Barely going out to eat. The only times we go out to eat is if we just want to explore, walk around, and have a date night. And on those days, we eat out. So if I can just tell you two things, that is, in order to find your balance and feel that true freedom, you got to let go of all of the stuff that's not serving you. Vairagya, detachment, just let go of it. And it doesn't need to be all at once, but every day, try to think of something you can let go. This can be a piece of clothing. This can be something in your fridge. And it doesn't mean eat it and hoard it. It means like maybe donate it, throw it out. It can be a habit that you've created that's not so good, and maybe you just work on that habit. Let it go, because you literally energetically need to let go of these things to bring in new abundance, new energy, new good things, and to step into that next version of yourself. You can't do that if you're still holding on, because our energy is precious. We can only spend our energy on so many things. Now, the other thing is create your continual practice, your abhyasa. Create what you need to be disciplined. Write out a plan, write out a schedule. Be really strict with what you have in your fridge, because most likely if it's at home, you're gonna eat it. You gotta be strict. You got to be consistent and disciplined with yourself. I know you might get comments of people who are like, you're so strict, you're so anal about that. But that's because they're not doing it. You gotta do that if you want the change, if you want the true freedom, if you wanna feel that bliss, and if you want to feel like nothing's controlling you, you need to allow yourself to rewire your brain literally, and you need to biohack your biology. Don't let the food industries have control over you. Realize that you're not the one who's emotionally attached to this food. It's the industries that are hacking your biology, and you got to be the bigger person, detached from your ego, right? More detachment here, and take control and practice that consistency so you can have control over your own biology. Right? So like I still have control over my biology, even though I have those few days that I might have something else that's diverting from my usual diet. I don't like to call it diet because now it's like diets, fads, but my diet is what I eat, and my fitness, that consistency that I've built. So if I do have an off day when I have my fitness, if I do have an 87 fuel day, I'm so grounded in my continual practice because 99% of the time that's what I'm doing, that, it's really easy for me to come back to my groundedness, to my discipline, and not feel like it's a lot of effort. But the more and more you stray away from it, it's gonna be hard. And that's why sometimes jumping into something like a program with a coach or a retreat or somewhere where you can fully detach and fully get into your continual practice, that's gonna do so much good for you. All right, thank you guys so much for listening in, tuning in on that. If you have any questions, comment down below. And if this resonated with you, please give this a like. It really supports me. And I can't wait to see you next time.